Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
It's working with gravity as well.
Yeah.
So when you're square, there's
No resistance.
no glutes. And top legs. Bring your leg out a little bit further, a little bit further. Yeah, that's right. So I like to look at 90 degrees in the knee.
Yeah.
So, I think so. Okay. You're both going to be doing the same weights?
Yeah.
I'm stronger with flats, like objectively.
I feel like my calves are so tight that if I am in flat,
if you can achieve depth in flats, that's as loose or mobile as your calves need to be. So if you can't achieve the depth, then sure, great rationale. But if I look at your squats and you're going deep, yeah. So it's like you don't need to go that deep. There's a lot of it's a hip dominant movement, so you don't need to get your hamstrings pressed up against your calves. That's for quadricep focus.
Yeah.
So for me, if I'm doing a high bar, yeah, I want that. I want my ass to grass. But if you're doing a low bar squat, full depth doesn't mean ass to grass.
yeah.
Anyway, if you don't like it, you don't do it. You know what I mean? Love to say I can relate to you girls, but
And it's so hard to put my knee sleeves on when I've got shorts on.
I really need to get new ones. My calves are like, can't fit
what size
these.
are they?
Small.
Oh my god, I'm a medium.
Are they hard to get on?
These are bassers.
Yes.
I use these are bassers and they're mediums, and I like
They're like by the end cutting off my calf circulation.
sometimes. Restricted blood flow training. That happens to my hamstrings with these sometimes. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, oh my god, I've got to take them off. They're burning.
Here, this is going to be a low bar squat. We're both doing low bar squat. They do other variations as well, but today, because we've got the cameras on us, we want to lift as heavy as possible. This is the strongest way to do a squat. Low bar squat. Hattie grabs the bar nice and close as her shoulder mobility allows. Places the barbell on the shelf created by the rear delts. See these muscles here? The bar has to sit on top of that, not below it. She pulls her elbows back and her shoulder blades down towards her back pocket. Now all of these muscles are on, supporting this heavy weight that has to sit on her spine. So you want all of these muscles, every single muscle from the barbell down, to be supporting that weight. Let's go. How are you walking back? Okay, so she takes small steps to get back, stands in her position, which is her comfortable stance. Toes pointing very slightly outwards. Taking a big breath. Initiates the movement by opening the hips, pushing the knees out, spreading the floor, knees out in the same direction as the toes. She goes as deep as her mobility allows, which just so happens to be ass to grass. But she doesn't go deeper than that unnecessarily. She probably could, and if she did, you'll see a lot more rounding in her lower back. We don't want any of that. We want rigid torso, neutral spine throughout the entire movement. Nice. So let's check out Lauren. She's not coached by me, but she's a great squatter. So she knows her stuff as well. But have a look at a few obvious differences. The main one that I see is her shoes. The shoes have an elevated heel, and what that's going to allow is a deeper squat. However, in a low bar squat for powerlifting competition, it's not entirely necessary to go exactly as deep as that. All she needs to go is as deep as the crease of her hip to go below the top of her knee. You can see she's going a lot deeper than that. So my recommendation, let's just say Lauren was my athlete, I'd say, hey, let's ditch the shoes. But I like that as a variation. Like I use the weightlifting shoes as well for my low bar squats as a variation. But if I was to compete, I want to lift the heaviest weight possible, flats. I would recommend heels like, my best squatters actually have heels. So Thor, Alex Simon, Vasa. These are three guys that can squat 420 for Vasa, 435 for Alex Simon, and 460 kilograms for Thor. And they all use the elevated heel weightlifting shoe. So it's not to say that you can't squat well with those weightlifting shoes, but the reason why they do, they lack the mobility to achieve that powerlifting depth with flats. But if you are mobile like you girls, that's just my recommendation. Alright.
I wouldn't call myself mobile.
Well, you're mobile enough.
You are.
Hey, I wouldn't call myself mobile either. I challenge anyone to that one. I'm the most immobile person in the room here by far, but I can still achieve powerlifter depth, which is all I need for my competition, for my sport. Really nice little squats, Hattie Boydle. So something that I like is to have the face, the eyes up, looking straight ahead. Body follows the eyes. So if you're looking down, a lot of the times when people fail the weights when they're looking down, that's where they fail, they fall forward. It's a cue that was taught to me by Ernie Lillybridge Sr. These guys, in my opinion, are the best technical squatters out of the heavyweights on the planet. They have one rule, and that's to look straight ahead. So that's why I do it. Let's go, Lauren. 2 reps. This is the last set with more than 1 rep. Let's go. Squeeze your back hard. Big breath. Nice squat. Really nice. Yeah, too good. Very strong.
So Lauren and I, a few days after the World, we were both in LA together. So we were in the Bahamas, and the next week we both were in LA, and we're like, okay, let's do a session together. And like we hadn't squatted in a while, and we got under the bar and we did a couple of sets on 80, and we were both like, it was so hard, and we were just like, yeah, we'll just leave it there, that's fine. I was like, this is so hard, what's wrong with us?
Yeah, that actually was really hard.
Okay, so next up, 105. So now what we're doing, the girls just got up to 100 kilograms with 10 kilogram increases. Obviously, they can go heavier, and they are going heavier, but now we're going to reduce the size of the increment increase to 5s instead of 10 kilo jumps. I find, in my experience working with most of the women, that they respond better to more warm-up sets, smaller increments, and these girls both agree. Lauren, is that right? You like to do a lot of warm-up sets to get to your top?
Yeah, my body that responds better. Like the 100 kilos will feel heavy, but then like a 110 might feel better than the 100 felt.
Agree. I actually find when we work up to a top set and then I do back down work, the back down work, even if it's more volume, felt better than what the warm up was on that weight.
Yeah,
and I
definitely.
that's why I find actually wave loading works quite well for me. It's just like the waves just get better even as it gets heavier.
We'll see that today. We're going to do the top set and we'll back down on something. And then you've got to switch it on for that one. We'll do so usually you go high volume and low weight, or high weight and low volume, but the back down work we're going to go high weight and high volume. Vomit session.
Hey.
All right, let's go. Singles now. Let's go, Hattie. Squeeze your back. Good job.
So that feels better than the 100.
Yeah, because we've now just gone up in smaller increments as well. So I think Lauren, one thing that I notice is you're really quick to unrack the weight. I like to take a little bit more time and just squeeze the bar in really tight and just take an extra second or so.
Yeah.
Try that. Let's go. 1 rep now. Now squeeze it in, chisel it in. Okay, good. Squeeze your back hard. Big breath. Nice. 1 rep. Let's go. Beautiful. Really good.
Better with the unwrap.
That was good. No, I can see now. So when, the way that I see you do it, you've got very mobile shoulders. So you kind of bang it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I chisel it in. So it's a different technique. Not that mine's better or anything like that. I just don't have mobile shoulders like yours. So it usually takes...
Mine can go really far.
You could go closer than your shoulder width. But your shoulders wouldn't get in the way. Well, it's not the traps.
When people try and tell me to take a wider
I
can't. I feel
Take a wide grip.
feel so unstable. I'm like, where my hands go is like where my hands go. It feels, I can tuck them in right here and feel, that's where I feel the safest.
Yeah. I wish I could do that. I got some mobility issues in my shoulders, let me tell you. Yeah, I go from...
You do have a wider grip.
Yeah, but I'm trying to go as close as possible. But I just... I cannot. No. That's as close as my shoulder mobility allows. Hang on a second, am I doing something wrong? What was that weight?
105.
That was 105.
So maybe 110.
Silly me.
Silly me.
That was 120 kilograms and that moved really, really nicely. You can see that she respects the weight, but you can also see that there's more in there.
Macros, but my food is, it's like between 2,200 and 2,600. But like the last 3 days or 4 days that I've been in Sydney, like I've gone from like I'd ride to the beach every day, do like 400 calories. It's dropped so much. I'm like, I've had to just shave off a whole bunch of calories because I was like, not as active, and it's like, oh, hate it. So I'm just trying to like find that balance now between it all. But my food is still high. Like, I shouldn't complain, you know. So I'm hungry though, which I like. I like waking up hungry. I like being hungry in the day, but then I like having big, fulfilling meals.
Yeah.
So
how many meals have you had so far, or have you
I've
not
only
had
had one
anything?
meal. I didn't want to eat too much before I trained today, but it was like a 600 calorie meal.
Is that good?
I'm a good eater. Ask Beth.
That's decent.
She can eat. We've been like group dinner settings, and like she literally out eats me. It's like, how the hell does that happen?
People literally be like, Hattie, I'm really impressed by the amount of food that you eat. I'm like, well, thank you. You better be quick around me. I like said to my sister, brought her boyfriend out for dinner the other night, and I said to him, you better be quick because I will vacuum clean this up. Like, everything.
It's true.
Yeah. I want extra bread. Like, I'm like, does anyone else want any bread? Everyone's like, no. I was like, can I get an extra bread for myself, please?
That was last night?
That was on Wednesday night.
So you're bulking for the session? Is that what it was?
That's like, you better eat up.
keep it sensible. So I think 130 is a great target for both of you.
Next time we do this, we can do wraps.
I'd love to.
But
have
I'd
you
have
guys
to do I'd have to free up my whole day. Like most of my day, it takes time.
Yeah, it takes time. But that'd be cool to have you girls again, and it'd be cool to have you girls wraps next time.
Yeah.
So we're agreed. 130 kilos each. I think you both got it. What do you reckon?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Something that I like to teach is to pause at the bottom before you drive it up. So what you're doing is you're going bum up and you're driving your hips in and lifting it simultaneously. You can't guarantee precision there, precision wins.
Yeah.
So the way that I like to do is to sit the bum down, stretch, then push. So I like to come to a complete standstill before you lift the weight off the ground. Okay, so don't go bum in and lift the weight up. Okay, that's something that like it makes sense to create momentum, but you're not precise.
Yeah.
I remember when I taught Hattie that cue, she didn't like it because she's used to trying to get a run off to pick up the weight, so she didn't like it. But now I would go as far as to say Hattie has a perfect deadlift. Like that's how I want to be.
It looks very good.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
You know the one cue I swear that got me good? Long neck. So everyone.
knees out, head to ceiling. Yeah, really smooth. Nice one. Head to ceiling, bum down, head to ceiling. Beautiful.
Oh,
Wow. Yeah, really good.
Much better.
That looks so like good life.
Yeah.
Looks like you
Beautiful. Game changer.
Yeah, so much better.
Look, I'm not going to take credit for all of that. Like, you're a strong deadlifter. I think it might add this much. But I like to do that. I like to add that much.
It's a tiny bit more narrow, I guess, than what I have been doing.
It's not a huge change. It's just a little bit more comfort. It lines you up a little bit better. So your hands are so close. So that's something I've noticed about you. But it works. Like your hands are on the inside of this line.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people I just say grab the line because that's pretty much where the shoulder width kind of fits. But yours is here, which is good.
And you've got more shoulders. So she's like.
Well, interestingly, it's not really. Your arms are straight down, which is. That's what we want. That's the most efficient position. Most efficient position for grip and the arm position is for them to be straight down. That's where our arms are the longest, and that's where we have to travel the least distance. Anywhere outside or inside of straight down, we have to travel a little bit further, making the movement less efficient. Another thing as well, this is a Texas Deadlift Bar. Is that new to you?
I have used one before, yeah.
They're so nice to use.
I think it's really nice to learn how to deadlift on a Texas bar. It's thinner and it bends. And it teaches you how to take the slack, like you bend the bar to take the slack out. The other stiff bars, they don't bend, so it kind of bites and it feels heavier. But I feel that even if some people don't like to use this because it's not the bar that they compete with in competition, but I still feel that if you don't compete with this bar, it teaches you how to deadlift better than a stiff bar. So we've all agreed that 140 is top weight today. Is that what we all agreed?
I think that was just you, Bez.
I'm hoping I'm not putting words in everyone's mouth. I don't want to do that today. It's up to the girls, really. But
140 sound good?
My advice is this is a cool dude weight, 140 kilos. Usually we should have done it the cool dude way, which is 3 blue plates. But we already agreed that red matches my shoes. So we have to go with that. So 140 kilograms is the top set. We're going to strip 10 kilos of each side. Let's do 5 reps. What do you say? Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, good. Not 6.
Yeah.
We're going to do 5. Okay, great session, guys. What a great day it was. Thank you so much for coming over, girls, both of you. Lauren Simpson, that's the first time I've ever worked with you. Damn, I'm impressed. Hattie, you know, we've been working together for years, but always impresses me to watch such little chicks lift huge weights. What a great day. For those of you who don't know who these girls are, which will be a big surprise to me if you don't, why don't you tell them where they can find you?
So on Instagram it is at Lauren Simpson.
On Instagram, it's at Hattie Boydle.
So these girls, both huge influencers around the world for thousands, not even thousands, millions. I'm using words to explain myself. Millions of not just women, people around the world love and look up to these girls. So I'm sure if you haven't heard of these two amazing women, I'm sure that you'll find something in their accounts that you might look up to. Give them a follow. But that was a great day. I'd love to do it again sometime.
Yeah,
what do you say, girls? So this session was 5 weeks after World's Championships. So that was an aesthetics show where they weren't supposed to be strong. So as amazingly strong as they were today, that's not as strong as they get. So I really want to get these girls on the same day when they're both peaking in their strength. And I guarantee you we're going to add a lot more weight to the bar.
Thank you.
Thank you, girls.
That was awesome.
Thank you, girls.
High five.
High five.